The A's extend Brent Rooker 5 years and $60 million. Why I have mixed thoughts today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I am your host, Boney, one name. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. I'm from the Bay Area, and I've been a diehard A's fan since 1981. I'm here to give you a real fan's take, covering everything from Oakland to Sacramento to Las Vegas. This is the place for A's fans to get the latest game breakdowns, team news, and more. This is where the passion of the fans takes center stage. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. And please hit that subscribe button wherever you are following the show. So, guys, we are still officially considered off season, which means episodes will run 3 days a week. This is Wednesday, day 3. You will not see me again until Monday. Wipe the tears. If there's any big news that comes out, I will be all over it. I don't know what days exactly episodes will post. I am going to try to do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It just seems nice and fluid. But yes, it is 3 days a week, and episodes should be up at 6 a.m. Starting the week of February 10th, we will be back to 5 days a week, which happens to be exactly when pitchers and catchers report. Great show for you today. With Brent Rooker signing a 5-year extension, is this the last move the A's make this offseason? The Brent Rooker extension basically rules out any thought of the A's signing any other starting pitcher. Let's discuss how the rotation is shaping up and what we can expect going into spring training. That's in a little bit. First, the A's bet big on Brent Rooker, a franchise-shifting deal. Today, we're diving into the A's groundbreaking decision to lock in designated hitter Brent Rooker with a 5-year, $60 million extension. It's a deal that could rise to $90 million with a vesting 6th year, making it one of the most significant moves in franchise history. We'll unpack the details, the context behind the decision, and what it means for the A's future, and why I have mixed thoughts about it. This episode is brought to you in part by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use Locked On MLB for $20 off your first purchase. Brent Rooker's extension is for 5 years and $60 million, with an option for a 6th year at $22 million. He'll earn $30 million over his first 3 seasons, covering what would have been his arbitration years. The contract averages $12 million annually, and for tax purposes, this helps the A's manage their competitive balance tax obligations. To put this more into a historical context of what this actually means, this is the A's first 5-year deal since 2011 when they extended Trevor Cahill. It's also their second $60 million plus investment this offseason, alongside Luis Severino's 3-year, $67 million deal. Both rare moves for a team known for its frugality. Just 2 years ago, Rooker was a waiver claim, a journeyman who had bounced between the Twins, the Padres, and the Royals. he transformed into one of baseball's best hitters, smashing 30 homers in 2023 and 39 homers last year with a 293 batting average. Rooker is in elite company with some of baseball's best sluggers. In 2024, Rooker ranked 6th in slugging percentage, trailing only stars like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Since joining the A's, Rooker's become a top 10 player in home runs and slugging percentage, cementing himself as a middle-of-the-order threat. The signing of Rooker secures their lineup with an anchor through at least 2029, aligning with their planned move to Las Vegas. It pushes their payroll closer to the $105 million mark, helping them avoid a Major League Baseball Players Association grievance over revenue sharing spending. It locks in Brent Rooker to a manageable rate compared to the 20 to 25 million annual value he could have commanded as a free agent. For Rooker, it provides long-term security for a player who was once on the roster bubble, avoids the risk of injury or regression as he enters his 30s, and offers a clear role as the team's DH, allowing him to solely focus on hitting. Now, in any deal, we have to look at the flip side, the risk, the challenges. That is no different for a player like Brent Rooker. Swing and miss concerns. Rooker's 30% strikeout rate is a potential red flag. However, his ability to cut that rate to 24% post All-Star break shows that he is getting better. The aging curve, a 5-year deal for a 30-year-old DH comes with risks, especially given his lack of defensive versatility. But let's look big picture. Now the A's can build around a legitimate superstar in Brent Rooker. The A's now have a lineup core with players like Lawrence Butler, Tyler Soderstrom, and Shea Langoliers. Top prospects like Nick Kurtz could create a good problem at first base and DH in the coming year. This is a turning point for the A's. This deal, alongside Severino's signing, signals a shift in the A's strategy as they prepare for their Las Vegas debut. If Rooker maintains even 80% of his current production, this contract could be a steal. The A's are betting big on Brent Rooker, and for good reason. He's gone from a waiver claim to an all-star caliber slugger and now serves as a cornerstone of their future. While there are risks, this move reflects a willingness to invest in their on-field product. As much as I love this deal, and I honestly feel that getting a player like Brent Rooker for $60 million over 5 years is an incredible deal and says a lot about Brent Rooker's commitment to the organization. The deal has me shaking my head, and it has nothing to do with Brent Rooker. For the last 2 months, we have talked about the A's payroll and the magic number of $105 million, which seems like we have done on the daily, almost as much as we've talked about John Fisher, but not quite. Before the Rooker extension, the A's needed to add approximately $16 million to get to that $105 million. Now it's approximately $8 million, which means any thought of signing or trading for another starting pitcher is for the most part gone, which may not be entirely a bad thing. The problem I have with the deal is not the deal itself at all. It's the idea and the thought that once $105 million is hit, that's it. No more spending, even if there's an opportunity to improve the roster. And I have known this. It shouldn't come as any surprise to me. And actually, I should be happy that the A's are doing anything at all. Like I said, it rules out the A's getting another starter. With that being said, let's dive into the A's 2025 starting rotation up next. This episode is brought to you in part by Rocket Money. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? That's definitely happened to me. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't even realize I was still paying for, and Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for all your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. For me, one of the best features is the subscription tracker. I've used it to cancel services I wasn't using anymore, and I've already saved a ton. Plus, with their goals feature, I've been able to automatically set aside money for my future. No more stressing about budgeting every month. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/locked on today. That's rocketmoney.com/locked on. rocketmoney.com/locked on. Like I have said on many of occasions, and what has been known regarding the A's and what they need to do to improve their roster has been starting pitching. And for the most part, they have done that. They have done exactly that. They have gone from a 2024 opening day starting rotation of Alex Wood, Ross Striplee, Paul Blackburn, J.P. Sears, and Joe Boyle to a potential 2005 starting rotation of Luis Severino, Jeffrey Springs, J.P. Sears, Osvaldo Bido, with the fifth spot up for grabs. I have read a lot of articles saying that it is Joey Estes and Mitch Spence in the fourth and fifth spot, with Bido being the odd man out. They obviously don't watch games because that is absolutely nuts. I'm not saying that Spence or Estes can't earn the fourth and fifth spot come spring training, but if we are making that determination based on performances of last year, yeah, you're just wrong. It's just, you're simply wrong. And I'm tired of reading those articles because it makes zero sense. And I'm going to tell you why. I think we could all agree that the top three guys in our rotation without any debate is Severino, Springs, and Sears. What has been debated is who will get the 4 and 5 slots between Bido, Spence, and Estes. It's Bido. Bido is in the 4 slot, and it's not close. Like I said, if you are suggesting anything else based on what we saw from July till the end of the season, you simply didn't watch the games. Remember, Bido started in the bullpen at the beginning of July. He had 4 outings where he went a total of 6 innings, giving up 2 hits and 1 run. His first start came on July 23rd against the Astros, where he went 5 innings, giving up 4 hits and 1 run, while striking out 6. His next start in Anaheim, he did run into some issues. He went only 3 2/3, 6 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned. He struck out 6, but walked 4. Base on balls is always going to be an issue for Bideau. And if he's around that strike zone, he's tough to hit. After that Angels start, he faced the Dodgers at home. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, struck out 6 against one of the best lineups in baseball. He backed it up in Toronto, going 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, striking out 5. He faced the Giants, 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, striking out 6. He faced the Devil Rays, 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. I mean, the guy was just dominant in August. He posted a 1.55 ERA. He had another start against the Reds, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned. 29 innings, 14 hits, 28 strikeouts, 1.55 ERA. Now, something important to remember, Bideau was dealing with wrist issues for several starts before finally getting to the point where he was having difficulty gripping the ball. This wrist injury landed him on the IL, and he only made 2 starts in September, one against the Mariners, going 5 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, and his last outing before he was pulled, going on the IL against the Tigers, going 2 innings, 1 hit, no runs. And that's where his season ended. If you really look at Bideau's season, he has only had 1 bad outing. And that was against the Angels in July, his second start. He was plagued by injuries, which did hurt him. But when we saw Osvaldo Bideau get the ball every 5th day, he was our best pitcher last year. There was no question about it. He was dominant. And I have no doubt if he even comes back close to what he was, that 4th spot is his. No question about it. Let's take a look at the other 2 pitchers he is competing with. Mitch Spence, which many critics and many outlets who say they follow the A's have him penciled in as a starter. I like Mitch Spence. Mitch Spence was great. But Mitch Spence is going to be so much better for us in the bullpen. When he was in the bullpen full-time in the month of June, he posted a 2.81 ERA in 16 innings, giving up 10 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned, striking out 13. Mitch Spence is a battler. There is no question about it. In July, he went 5 1/3, 6 hits, 1 run against the Angels. He got knocked around against the Orioles a little bit. 6 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned. Got knocked around against the Phillies. 3 2/3, 5 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned. Walked 5. Came back strong, somewhat strong against the Angels. 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned. And again, against the Angels, 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned. In August, against the Dodgers, 5 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs. Against Toronto, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 2 runs. Got knocked around against the Mets, 2 2/3, 4 hits, 5 runs. Got knocked around against the Rays, 7 innings, 4 runs, 4 earned. Came back strong in Cincinnati, 5 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run. At Texas, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. Detroit, 4 1/3, 8 hits, 1 run. Houston, 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. The Cubs, 5 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. Against Texas, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 3 runs. Against the Mariners, 4 1/3, 7 hits, 6 runs. It's always a battle with Spence. You know, he's throwing a ton of pitches. He battles out there. He gives up a lot of hits. He is just not a starting pitcher for how much he battles and for how much I like him. I just don't see him as one of our starters right now. And I see him having the role he had at the beginning of last year, coming out of the pen in more high leverage situations. The other individual rumored to be that fourth or fifth starter is Joey Estes. Again, Joey Estes had a tough first half, came back strong in the second half. Who could forget the 9-inning complete game, 5-hit shutout against the Angels? Next start, went to Boston. Rumor was he was a little sick. 1 2/3, 7 hits, 8 runs. Then comes back and throws an absolute gem against the Phillies. 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. Faced the Angels again, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 2 earned. Then comes out of the pen against the Angels when Paul Blackburn and Ross Stripling came back, and he was the odd man out. He goes 2 2/3, 2 hits, no runs. He was great against the Dodgers, 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs. Against the White Sox, he was fine. 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs. Okay against the Mets, 5 1/3, 7 hits, 3 runs. Had a little backlash at Darryl Hernandez, who he felt should have handled a ground ball a little bit better. I didn't like the way Estes showed up Hernandez in that moment. Tampa Bay, 7 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run. Milwaukee, 5 2/3, 2 hits, 2 runs. Texas, 6 hits, 2 runs, 6 innings. And then what has me questioning Estes is his September. But again, I'm not going to put too much weight on September. The A's had a lot of other things going on. But again, look at his outings. Seattle, 4 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs. Houston, 6 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. 1 inning against the Cubs, 9 hits, 6 runs. 4 innings against the Yankees, 7 hits, 5 runs. 5 innings against Seattle, 5 hits, 3 runs. My point to all of this is that Bedot is clearly the A's number 4 starter, with right now Joey Estes and Mitch Spence battling for the 5 spot. And you know who hasn't been getting a lot of talk that I feel is our 5th starter? Is Hogan Harris. Hogan Harris had 3 starts in July. 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned to the Orioles. 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned against the Phillies. 6 2/3, 7 hits, no runs against the Astros. And then he was sent down because Stripling and Blackburn were coming back up and they got to get their starts because they're making the money. He comes back and never gets another start. He goes 2 innings in August against Cincinnati, 1 hit, no runs. And in September, he goes a total of 16 innings, 11 hits, 5 earned for a 2.81 ERA. Hogan Harris in July, August, in September, in 32 1/3 innings, posted an ERA of 2.5. And he's not even getting a sniff at that 5 spot for the starting rotation. Well, not on this show. I got Hogan Harris as my number 5 starter, and I'm sticking with it. He's our 5th best starter. He earned it. And as much as I like Spence and Estes, they're not as good as Hogan Harris based on what we saw last year. No question about it. Harris got screwed a little bit by getting sent down. And when he came back, he never got another opportunity as a starter. The question with Harris is, how many left-handers do we have coming out of the bullpen? If it's just TJ McFarland and someone else can step up, then yeah, I see Harris coming out of the pen. But let's say we have already 2 left-handers out of the pen. That 5th spot is Harris. No question about it. which brings us to what is the next move the A's will make. Up next. This episode is brought to you in part by Game Time. I love going to live events, whether it's sports, music, theater, or comedy. One of my favorite memories was attending a concert last year. The energy and excitement were unforgettable. Now, Game Time has made it even easier to get tickets for your favorite events with their new feature, Game Time Picks. This feature filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Recently, I was looking for tickets to an upcoming Golden State Warriors game using the Game Time app. With Game Time Picks, I found amazing deals and could even see the view from my seat before buying. The super deal was particularly impressive, offering great seats at unbeatable prices. Plus, the app's all-in pricing shows you the total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time! The A's still need to spend approximately $8 million. Ideally, what I would like to see is a veteran left-handed pitcher who can come out of the bullpen or fill in as that number 5 starter if needed. Someone like a James Paxton, who I believe was with the Red Sox last year, formerly with the Dodgers, if I am not mistaken, or a right-hander who can do the same, like a Jacob Junis, formerly with the Giants and the Reds. You know who I thought was great last year for the A's when I was hoping they re-signed him was Scott Alexander. I would love if the A's re-signed Alexander. He had a rough start to the year, but check this out. In July, 10 1/3 innings, 1.74 ERA. In September, 5 2/3 innings. He didn't allow a run, allowed 3 hits. And in September, 2.70 ERA in 10 innings. I mean, Alexander was great, man. And you talk about a lefty specialist. They're a little bit different, him and McFarland, but geez, that would solidify our bullpen. McFarland and Alexander. As I have mentioned before, our bullpen was very, 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 very good last year. A lot of the credit goes to the pitchers, obviously, but I thought Kotze put them in incredible spots. A lot of times, there would be 2 outs in an inning, lefty coming up, he would go to McFarland just to face the left-hander. I can't tell you how many outings TJ McFarland had last year where he just went a third of an inning, faced one batter, got the job done. He was amazing. Alexander was even better. They were great last year. I would love if the A's signed Scott Alexander to a contract. As far as infielders, my number 1 choice is Paul DeJong. I think he's a veteran infielder. He can play shortstop. He can play third base. He can play second base. He has some pop. I think he's a hell of a ball player, and still, the best ball is ahead of him. The player in the outfield, I know we don't need much help in the outfield, but geez, just a few years ago, he was an all-star in Cincinnati, and he tore it up the back end last year with the Mets. And I've talked about him before. Jesse Winker, man. I love Jesse Winker. I can see Jesse Winker being a middle-of-the-order guy. Big fan of Winker. And he's not demanding a lot of money. So here's the deal. We can go Paxton or Junis, and that's it. We don't have any more money. Or we can go a Scott Alexander and a Paul DeJong, or a Scott Alexander and a Jesse Winker. I like the last two. I like the last two options. And I think that should be the A's next move. If you happen to talk to David Forst, have him direct message me at Locked On A's. I'm dead serious. Anyway, guys, hey, thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor and story throughout the offseason. Find Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Have a great rest of the week, a wonderful weekend, and if no other A's news breaks out, I will see you on Monday. Take care, guys.